My name is Kaylee. This is my floss tube channel. And I didn't have a ton of whips to show to do a floss tube. So instead of doing a stitch with me, because Hannah sent an email to vendors for Stitch North, it got me thinking maybe I do a sew some inventory project bags chat video. I'm not sure how this will go, but I figure now when I make bags, I cut a bunch out and like do the same step and sort of do assembly line at the machine. So I thought we could just do a chat, and I'm ironing and just blabbing. So it's Valentine's. It's Valentine's. Happy Valentine's to everyone who does anything today. We don't. Like my Stella's at friendship skate at school. They've all gone skating. And we got Valentine cards made for her, and then I wrote them for Ivy. She's starting to get her name. She has the letters down, but they're not in the right order, and I just didn't feel like waiting for her to write 25 cards. So I wrote all of those for her friends. Yeah, I do not celebrate at all. So this fabric is so cute. It's Fiona Hewitt. I love her stuff. I bought a bunch of her fabric for Stitch North because it was pretty popular when I put some on the website. Yeah, so it's February. Okay, so January was a tough month. I don't think I have, what's it called? Seasonal affective disorder, or whatever it's called. I think there was no sun. We had no sun. And I was trying vitamin D drops that like I had at home, but I'm pretty sure they were like vitamin D drops, when you take newborns home from the hospital. So when I called my doctor to tell him I was taking vitamin D drops, he kind of laughed at me and also said he was giving patients injections because they were so low. So yeah, I did not feel normal in January at all. I barely did any stitching. I don't know, I was in a funk. But February has been sunny, and I feel so much better. It is crazy. I keep thinking I had applied and got a job in Nunavut, which is like the Arctic, and I would have really struggled having no sunlight for that many months, I guess, of the year. It would have been very hard. And also, I think across the world, the price of groceries has gone insane. And in January, I don't know, that was starting to really get to me. I don't want to sound dramatic and say I was depressed after going grocery shopping every day, but I was bummed out. It's like $3 for one cucumber. I paid $9 for a bag of potatoes, and they were terrible. 4 garlic were $8. So, because I am not political at all, and I doubt the prices are going to change, I have the space. My kids are 6 and 3. They're old enough to learn, or at least start to get comfortable. This year is the garden year. It is happening. I have made, I don't know how to garden. I have made attempts in the past. And I would plant with like no real plan. I'd plant like 10 kale plants, and kale has got to be one of the easiest things to grow that grows, into frost. You can only eat so much kale. We're not a kale family. Sorry, my dog wants to go out. Hey, what do you like? Okay. And I grew last year. Okay, so last year, our neighbor, he's farish away, but he has a garden. He has a routine. He's done it for like 50 years. He says gardening's easy, but yeah, I'm sure it would be if you do the same thing you just get into a routine, right? So he sort of like helped with a garden. He's like, you can pick what you want to grow here, and I'll like look after it and everything. And I was like, oh, awesome. But I sort of just went to the grocery store and bought plants, not really thinking. And again, I grew like 10 cabbages. I don't make coleslaw or sauerkraut. I mean, I tried doing sauerkraut once. No one liked it. You can only eat so much sauerkraut. I know it's really good for you, but I only like it sort of with one meal. So that was a waste. And then I always forget, with the lettuce, I love salads. You have to replant it, So I'm trying to make lists because I want this to be successful. So if anyone watching has any tips, I don't even know what my grow zone is in Ontario. I know there is like no point in us growing before June. People say May 2-4 weekend. No, it's never warm enough anymore. So June, and then, carrots, and they still go, but I'd say we have June, July, August, September, 4 months of good growing. So, okay, so my lists, what I've realized, I need a lot of garlic. So I think I'm going to plan on planting 200, what do you say, cloves to have bulbs? I'm sure not all of them will grow. So 200. Wait, I should pin this. What am I doing? And I'm going probably the same for onions, like a mixture of purple, Spanish, and just the like cooking ones. That's a big priority. We eat a lot of garlic and onions. And then tomatoes, actually, so I had a tin of seeds, and I thought, oh yeah, homesteading is like so easy. But no. So I had from 2019 a bunch of seeds. So I was like, oh, I'll do that where you put the seeds in a damp paper towel in a Ziploc bag to see if they germinate. So I did that with the tomatoes. Yellow tomatoes, San Marzano, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they're the best for sauce or puree or crushed tomato or whatever. And beef beef steak tomatoes because I can eat a lot of those in the summer. So those are, I don't know if I'll do cherry. I mean, yeah, I probably won't. I'm focusing, see, this is it. So I'm focusing on what I want. I would like to have 50 jars of tomato, like crushed tomato, because I use it, for Indian, for tomato sauces, for chili. I use a lot. 50 is like lowballing it. So if I can't grow, we have a lot of Mennonite and Amish around, I'm gonna go and get the bushels, and hopefully we can get some canning equipment. People have told me if you don't want to can, put it in Ziploc bags and freeze it. But we get like a quarter cow every year from a farm, and it takes up a lot of the chest freezer, like a lot. So I do want to can. That's the other thing. When you grow like the tomato and onion and garlic, I'll probably try growing potato as well. I know I have to store it properly. So I have to, there's no point in getting all this product without the infrastructure, I guess you could call it. So I know some people think it's so easy, and I'm like, oh, there's so much to think about. Okay, so yeah, crushed tomatoes, nothing fancy. I'm not even going to try sauces, just basic crushed tomatoes. Onions, garlics. Okay, so then next I want a few pickling cucumber. So I'm not sure how many. I just want 5-6 jars of pickles. Ivy could eat a ton of pickles, but she's 3, so 3-year-olds decide to never eat what you think they love ever again for years, so we'll see. I like pickles though. I don't need a ton. So I don't know, maybe 1 plant? How many plants do you even see? This is what I don't know. How many plants produces? Yeah, I'm so confused about this. Like if 1 plant, no, you'd need like 5 plants that would then have a bunch of pickles ready at the same time. And what, do you keep those until more, or do I have to pickle those because they're not going to keep until the next ones get ripe? There's so much to learn. Anyways, okay, so yeah, pickles. Then I am going to try growing peppers like cayenne, ghost peppers. We cook a lot of Guyanese food, and their peppers wari wari. I find it very difficult where we live to grow peppers successfully. I don't think it gets hot enough. I'm not sure. So, cautiously optimistic. I do want to grow a ton of bell peppers because they are very easy to just cut up and freeze. You don't have to blanch them, which is nice. I forgot to say, so neighbor Ted, he told us what he plants every year, and he's like, don't grow those things because I'll just share with you. So he grows carrots, a bunch of different squash, turnips. He grows tomatoes. He shared them with us last year. What else? Zucchini and beets. So I'm not really going to bother with those. But again, carrots, I want to have a ton of carrots frozen. They were a lifesaver this winter, having bags of frozen carrots, just julienne prepped for stir fries and stuff and whatever. When sometimes bags of carrots were so outrageous, I was just very happy to have frozen ones at home. We eat a ton of broccoli. Broccoli is one of those plants. It's so much foliage for the broccoli though, but we eat a ton of broccoli, so that's on the list. We also, not neighbor Ted, but another neighbor has chickens, and we keep all of our scraps and stuff for chickens and get eggs, which is a fantastic setup. So I guess the broccoli won't bother me that much because I could save all the leaves and stuff for the chickens. Spinach. Grow some spinach. Probably grow one kale plant because yeah, kale's amazing. It is, but you know, there's one raw kale salad we like, and then I like it in mashed potatoes, just to make mashed potatoes healthy, I guess. But that's it. So not going to go overboard with that. Then some lettuce. I'm not going to bother with celery. I'm never successful with celery, and we sort of, it's not the most important. I'd love to do ginger, but again, I don't find that insanely unreasonable at the grocery store. I'd love to do asparagus too, but I know that's one of those crops where the first year or the first couple of years you don't get anything, I believe. And I don't know if where we're trying to have our garden is going to be the forever garden, so I might wait to make sure that we put in the right spot. And then when I was telling my parent, or was it my parents? You know, we do have wildlife. We have rabbits. We have hares, I guess. I don't know if they're rabbits. So I don't know if my dog's going to be able to. We don't leave her outside at night. You know, what's going to happen at night with the animals? Is her like scent going to keep animals away? Or are we going to have to build a fence? Like, there's a lot of unknowns, I guess. I do also want to plant like raspberry, strawberry. Raspberry, strawberry. Raspberry is sort of the only jam we're into. And then we like honey, but we're not enough to ever think about doing bees. But a lot of maple syrup gets consumed in this house. So, and we have a ton of maple trees everywhere, so we might think about tapping into some of those. We've done that once before. I know it's an insane process boiling it down, but like one little can like this is $10. It's insane. So, you know, we'll see. But I am figuring out this year 100% garden. I'm excited. The girls are getting pumped, growing all their seeds in egg cartons right now, just the tomatoes so far. When I tried germinating the pepper seeds I had, nothing sprouted. So I don't know. Some people say you have to put like a heat pad underneath to get them. I don't know if you guys have any tips. But if not, I guess I'll just have to bite the bullet and buy those. This is another Fiona Hewitt fabric. Isn't this so cute? So I'm at Stitch North both weekends, Saturday and Sunday. I'm very excited. It's in April this year. So it's soon. It's really soon. I can't believe it. So I've started dyeing some fabrics already, but yeah, it's time to get some inventory going on. Okay, so I'm probably gonna I don't want to sew at the machine and talk just because I have to kind of focus and it's loud, but I'll come back and keep chatting at the next step. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm back. I've done a bunch of sewing on a bunch, and now I'm just doing the next step at the table. So I do unfortunately forget what we were talking about, but while I was sewing, I was still thinking all about food, groceries, and stuff. So what else was I thinking about? I was thinking, well, I'm hoping other people have some advice. Well, I was thinking also, if I make a ton, 50 jars of tomato puree, and say like 5 jars of pickles and 5 jars of jam, and so people store them where? In their basement? Like, is it because they need to be dark or cool? I don't even know anything about that. I remember one time making pesto and not doing a step, and it all like fermented and exploded. And my parents did that with some wine or beer, homemade wine or beer, and it all exploded. I know there are steps you have to do. I know that. So I don't want to, I really do not want exploding tomato sauce in my basement or wherever I decide to store these things. And I also saw, we eat a lot of beans, like chickpeas to make hummus, and chickpeas in Indian food, and whatnot, and kidney beans, and what's kidney beans for? Just chili, I think, actually. White beans, we do like a white bean lasagna, and then black beans for like refried beans. And I know they're like $2 a can. They're not crazy, but then I saw someone do some math on buying dried bags, and it was like $2 for the bag, and she made like 8 jars. So I'm like, and how much palava is this step? Like, I don't know if this should be a first goal, because beans really aren't a ton of a huge expense. And then I'm on the fence. We have like Bulk Barn here. I don't know if that's they sell like loose product like rice and spices and pretzels and peanut butter and stuff. And on Sundays you can bring your own containers, and you get 15% off. And I usually get my spices there, and quinoa, and some snacks sometimes. Then like you hear some people hate it. They think it's all like stale, and like kids' hands have been and everything. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if this is the best place to get that stuff. And then I know some people like price shop. Then when you factor fuel and your time, are you actually saving? Because I just go to a Zehrs, which I think is Loblaws. I believe it's Loblaws. And like I said, their produce is insane. But if you go for a drive to more ethnic grocery stores, like the Indian grocery store, you get a lot of spice for nothing, and a lot of like cilantro and spring onions and things like that for crazy cheap, and same with Chinese grocery stores. But they're dry. Like, you have to decide to go to those stores, and sometimes you don't want to. And those sort of things, they don't keep. Like cilantro, I've never been able to keep cilantro more than a week. I've tried all the tricks, and it wilts. And spring onions, same with spring onions. So, and I've tried doing the spring onions, like growing them on the windowsill and stuff, and the lettuce, and I don't know, I always give up so quickly, but I'm going, like, I'm complaining about it too much, so I need to stop. I need to make changes. So, that was like, well, a delayed New Year's resolution. Would also love to add baking bread and stuff into our lives, but when I think about the bread we eat, like pita bread would be useful. But how long does that keep? That's always my video froze when I was asking about how long bread kept for, like homemade bread. I don't know why it does that so often. Maybe I have too much stuff on my computer. It freezes a lot when filming. So yeah, I don't even know what I was saying. Bread, I make naan. That's the only thing I can consistently make. But whoever has leftover naan, never. You eat it all immediately because it's delicious. But pita bread would be good. I also tried making, I don't know if it's just Guyanese. Sorry for the crinkling. Just Guyanese or Caribbean in general. It's called paratha roti, and that was very good. But you have to you make it, and then you do this coil thing, and you roll it again, and then you fry it, and then you have to clap it so it all comes apart. And I burnt the crap out of my hands. Then I was talking to a lady who's Guyanese, and she's like, "Oh yeah, for sensitive hands, just put it in a container and shake it." But yeah, I'm finding ethnic foods they have some really reasonable recipes. We had, I don't know why, the only affordable meat at our grocery store there for a bit was whole chickens. So I bought a ton, like $6 for a whole chicken. So I was buying a lot, but having roasted chicken and potato, rice, and veggies gets old so quickly. So then we started doing Guyanese, it's just called chicken stew, and you have to butcher the whole chicken, and I still don't really know how to do that. And my husband tried, he's still not very good. He watched the YouTube videos. My gosh, these people are so profesh. So then you have to make stock because we can't butcher it properly to get all the goodness off. Anyway, so that stew is nice and easy. Stella hates it. My youngest could eat it every day. And then one day I was looking for inspiration on Pinterest and coq au vin. We had all the ingredients to make coq au vin, and that was absolutely delicious. We did it 2 weekends in a row. At Christmas, we had a bunch of leftover red wine we weren't really into, so that worked perfectly because you need quite a bit of red wine. I think it was Julia Child who said coq au vin's like peasant food. Just like, goodness, who are these peasants? Like, red wine, gorgeous, fluffy, buttery mashed potatoes. I don't think it's very peasanty, but my only complaint for coq au vin, or a lot of French recipes, is the 27 million steps to every single recipe. Like even croissants. It's like bread, butter, or flour, butter, and there's still 50 million steps. That puts me off a little bit. That there's some Indian recipes too. It's like 4 hours, like real chicken tikka masala. Oh my, it's like 4 hours. It's insane. So, it's worth it, but sometimes I'm a bit. So yeah, coq au vin, that was great. Some more Caribbean. Made Jamaican beef patties from scratch. They were fantastic. But I'm trying not to do a bunch of pastry stuff because I don't know what it's like where you are, but butter's like $10 for a block. It's insane. I'm gonna go all Pioneer Village and buy one of those where you have, that with milk or cream, you just stand there and is it turning? I don't even know, but I'm tempted. Because this is crazy. This is crazy. So what other? Oh, we tried halloumi for the first time. That was not a success. I really like salt, but that's a very salty cheese. That's way more salty than feta. I tried this like Lebanese charcuterie board with falafels and all the pickles and what is it, that garlic. I don't know any of these names. It's so annoying. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That was delicious. But yep, I need more ideas because I'm getting bored of everything I'm cooking. There's a couple Thai. I'm not the biggest fan of Thai. I think like pho. Pho's like a whole day to make pho, so that puts me off a bit. And I'm not even a huge fan. So they have one soup. It's called tomka. We eat that a lot. That's really yummy. And I made dumplings, Chinese like pork dumplings, and it's the same thing with pierogies. I do something wrong when freezing because when I put them in the Ziploc bag, and I want to defrost them, they've all stuck together. So someone said put them on trays and then freeze them and then put them in the Ziploc bags, which is what I did last time I did dumplings. But yeah, they still ended up, it's when I defrost them, is it the wet that makes them go sticky? Like, what am I doing? So that's really frustrating because I love dumplings. And we eat stir fry a lot. It's the only time my kids really eat broccoli. And tried making egg fried rice. I put hot dogs in them, and all I could taste were hot dogs. So that was a fail. What other things have I tried recently? Yeah, not that much. Oh, from an auction, I got my first crock pot for 50 cents. And I don't know how I haven't had a crock pot before because that's been fantastic. Oh yeah, so I got we have roasts from the cow we get. I can't remember, round roast maybe. So yeah, popped that in seared it, popped it in the slow cooker. And again, from Christmas, people brought a bunch of like funky beers, and there was this one stout. It's like 7%, so I poured that in there. Some carrots, onion, garlic. Okay, amazing. My husband made this gravy, like made so much gravy from like turkey stock from Christmas, and then all of the juice from the slow cooker. And we had so much gravy left over, and I was having the next day. I had like pissed off whatever gods wherever. Everything was going wrong, and I was like, I want poutine. I don't often want poutine because it's insanely heavy and rich, but that's what I felt like, and I knew how good that gravy was. And so yeah, we just did the McCain's straight cut or whatever those fries are called in the like just baked. Got the curds. Oh, so now I'm good on poutine for like another 6 months. Although it's Stitch North, Anita's coming from Violet Stitcher, and I know she has some dietary restrictions, so I don't know if we can find poutine that'll work for her, but she's going to Montreal, and they definitely have the best poutine in the world. So, if anyone hasn't tried poutine, they're coming to Stitch North. Where Stitch North is like located, though, has the best Indian restaurants at like anywhere. So, if you like Indian food, hit up Indian restaurants around where Stitch North is. You will not be disappointed. Okay, I'm blabbing on again. I'm probably going to go sit at the machine and sew and come back and do the next step with you. Think about more stuff to talk about. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back again. I kind of forget where I left out, but probably about still canning and preserving and whatnot. And I was thinking while I was at the sewing machine, because when I was growing up, I never like was taught anything about cooking at all. Like I definitely learned when I moved out. So it was like a steep learning curve, right? Because well, I'd eat out a lot. That was expensive. And so, yeah, there's a lot to figure out. But I remember I had this one friend when I was in elementary school, and her family was Yugoslavia, or she was Bosnian, and her mom worked in the deli, and her dad was getting his education to become a breast cancer researcher. So, University of Toronto has, well, I don't know how many now, but when I was in elementary school, there were 2 pretty big apartment blocks, and they were just for families. I guess they were subsidized, and one parent was at U of T, so I had a bunch of friends who lived there, and so Iskra, her parents lived there. It was her brother, her mom, her dad, sometimes her grandparents, and her mom worked at the deli, sort of like downstairs. It was pretty close, and so school was out. I was over at her place, and her mom's like, I need you guys to cook all of these chicken thighs. I'll be back like when my shift ends or whatever. And I certainly had no idea what the hell to do. Nothing. And I guess Isker kind of had an idea. And we set up one of those silver like trays, so we could pretend we had a TV show on cooking like we knew what we were doing. We probably washed them in the sink. I know you're not supposed to do that. I think we just seasoned with salt and pepper. Anyways, we put them in the frying pan. I know water was involved. Yeah, so we must have watered them or washed them, because when we put them in the frying pan, which had oil on high heat, they were like spatter. Like, we thought we probably did get injured and burnt. And we're trying to still, have this TV show, this cooking channel, and deal with being attacked by chicken thighs. Oh my gosh. And they all got burnt. Her mom came home, absolutely lost her mind. They were all raw on the inside. And there were a lot, like maybe 30 we screwed up. Oh my God. Like, I understand now the gravity of that. I remember just being like, whoa, this is disproportionate anger for this mess up. But yeah, oh my gosh. I don't remember really cooking. Her grandma, she called her Micah, would make like fresh cheese, and not a little bit. It was like in those gallon paint, those white gallon of just, and she'd have fresh bread, and you just have a slice of bread and take a knob of, I don't know if it was feta. It was sort of that consistency, but not as salty. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. Her and I, we used to get into some wholesome shenanigans, let me tell you. Her grandma ended up, so her grandpa passed away, lung cancer, and so her dad ended up getting an incredibly good job at Harvard for breast cancer research, and so she moved away. It was devastating. But her grandma still lived in Toronto. So she'd come back in the summer and visit her grandma, who lived, it was an old people's home, but like not really. It was sort of, they had their own apartment. And I guess maybe, I'm not sure what the deal was, but there wasn't any, not like a nursing home. It was just an apartment where older people lived. And so her grandma lived there. Her grandma never spoke English, never learned English. So she would always have to translate everything for me. But I always had camp all summer. My mom sent me to camp. So I would always just chill. I'd go visit her after camp. And I guess it was this Sunday. I had slept over because my camp was close to where her grandma lived. And all of a sudden her grandma, so it's morning, we're still sort of asleep, is like screaming her head off, like telling us she has to wake up. And Oscar's like, what? And her grandma didn't believe in banks and would stash cash. And she had put a bunch of cash, like $2,000 or something. Like, she had different cash all over the place, but she had $2,000 in this one grocery bag. And she's like, I accidentally threw it down the garbage chute. No, so it was a Saturday. So it's Sunday morning. And Iskar's like translating. Her grandma's like going insane, right? So Iskar's like, okay, we got to go talk to the superintendent to ask if we can go like dumpster diving. And so we go downstairs. We find which apartment's the superintendent's. And did I put this one on the right way? Sorry. And he's like, I can't let you in there until Monday. So we go back upstairs and tell her grandma that. Her grandma's like just beside herself. She's so worried. You know, she's on a pension or something. It's a lot of money. And yeah, so I go to camp. So I go home like in the evening and I go to camp And I tell this girl, like, I'll come by after camp because I know you will have just spent your day dumpster diving. So I get off camp. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I meet her. And she's like, I've had 3 showers. And like, I couldn't even get closer. She stunk so bad. Like the sewage. Oh, it was so gross. And I was like, how'd it go? And she's like, I didn't find it. And she's like, I was down to the bottom, like juices. Oh God. And because it was a home with elderly people, like there were hypodermic needles and stuff like that in there. She was like, that was the worst experience of my life. I didn't even find this money. She couldn't get the smell out of her skin for so, like, I don't know how many showers she ended up having to finally get out of it. And then it was like 3 days later, something like that, I'm over there again, and her grandma's like, oh, I found it. She like moved this bag to a different hiding spot. Oh my God. She was not impressed, but I will forever remember that. Oh my gosh. Hiding money. Like, not like, what if your house catches on fire? I know a lot of people like did this. You know, came from countries, I guess, where you couldn't quite trust banks and stuff, but oh my gosh, would you not be afraid of it having a house fire? Oh my gosh. I don't know what the answer would be there. But yeah, she was definitely that friend where a lot of my European friends, you never stayed inside because you'd have to like work. Like they'd have you cleaning or folding laundry or something, or there was like little kids or babies to look after. So we'd always be outside, no matter what the weather was like. And where I lived at the time had a swimming pool, an outdoor swimming pool, so we'd be there a lot. And then that apartment complex, there was like playgrounds, and our school was actually really close as well. So sometimes we just go back to school playground. There's a huge soccer field and stuff. But yeah, we would always be outside. We weren't bad kids at all. We were always just playing soccer or sports and stuff. We never knew about trouble. It's funny, like I was brought up downtown Toronto, and I never saw drugs ever. Like ever. There's a couple like homeless people that were maybe alcohol or maybe they were on drugs, but it was never in my school or nothing like that. We were sort of the sporty kids anyway, so I guess maybe we weren't hanging out with the right people. I don't know. But I was way older. I was like university before I saw anything like that. I mean, my parents are British, so drinking was just a thing, but nothing like, you're not stealing alcohol to go drink it somewhere. We never did anything like that. I didn't even think about doing anything like that. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to do some more sewing, and I'll be back, and we'll flip some bags upside down. So this day has evaporated. I have to go get Stella off the school bus momentarily. But thought I don't know what I said when I ended the last one, but I meant to say turn some bags inside out. I also have to put, and I haven't figured out what charms to put on these bags. Teacup, or I think I have a cat. How many cat and teacups? I have so many charms, and it's crazy. You can have all of these charms and still like have a bag, you know, nothing matches. I thought I had a cat. Oh, here. This cat teapot. That one's cute. So this was fun, actually. Maybe I will do more inventory videos, chat and make inventory for Stitch North. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't believe it's here again already. Time goes. Time is a crazy thing. Time went by fast. What is this saying? I feel like stitching it actually. Long days, short years. Because I say that a lot. It's very true. What should I do for this one? Oh, there's swallows on here. I definitely have swallows. Let's see. No, that's a hummingbird. It's another hummingbird. Oh, I'm big on the hummingbirds. There's the rest of those. Okay, I feel like this part is not going to be very entertaining, so I might just say thank you very much for watching, and the next video I will do will be showing everything I've stitched on, because I will have more by then after doing the unconventional cross stitch for every day this month. So thanks again. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.